Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We uncover the most astonishing stories behind seemingly ordinary coins that could be hiding a fortune in your pocket change, and today, we are diving deep into a truly fascinating discovery that has the entire numismatic world buzzing, the legendary 2006 P5 coin, which has stunned collectors and experts alike by commanding a mind-blowing value of $120 million due to a perfect storm of minting errors, production anomalies, rare metal compositions, and historical context that have elevated this nickel from everyday change to an unimaginable treasure. So if you're holding on to a handful of coins or you're just getting into the world of coin collecting, stay tuned as we unravel the incredible details and possibilities surrounding this multi-million-dollar coin that has captured global attention and could very well be hiding in plain sight, because the 2006 P nickel is far from ordinary and has become the subject of intense scrutiny and admiration due to a rare convergence of factors that have pushed its value far beyond what anyone would have imagined when it was first struck at the Philadelphia Mint nearly 2 decades ago. And at the heart of its astonishing value lies a unique combination of errors, starting with the most visually obvious and striking, the misaligned die strike, which resulted in the obverse image of Thomas Jefferson being noticeably shifted from its intended position, creating a jarring visual discrepancy that immediately raises eyebrows among experienced collectors who understand that such dramatic die misalignments are rare, especially when they pass undetected through the Mint's rigorous quality control systems. And in the case of the 2006 P nickel, this misalignment is so severe that Jefferson's portrait is pushed far toward the rim, distorting the usual spacing and causing part of the inscription "In God We Trust" to be nearly cut off or incompletely struck, which alone would make this coin a collector's item. But that's just the beginning, because in addition to the die misalignment, this specific coin also displays evidence of a dramatic double die error, where design elements like the lettering, especially Liberty and the date, show clear signs of doubling, a telltale sign that the die shifted slightly during the striking process, causing the same image to be stamped twice in slightly different positions, resulting in a ghost-like doubling effect that is visible to the naked eye and drives collectors wild due to the difficulty in reproducing such an error and the relative scarcity of examples exhibiting such clear doubling in this mint year. And when we examine the reverse of the coin, the surprises continue as we find a weak strike in several key areas, most notably around Monticello, where the details of Jefferson's estate appear faint and incomplete, possibly due to improper striking pressure or a worn reverse die, which further elevates the rarity and uniqueness of the coin, since reverse die degradation typically affects only a fraction of a production run before being replaced, and coins showing such pronounced weakness while simultaneously featuring other major errors are highly prized because they indicate a confluence of production issues during a very short time window, meaning only a tiny number of these nickels could ever exist. But the intrigue does not stop with visual inspection alone, because metallurgical analysis has revealed that this particular 2006 P5 coin may have been struck on an improperly prepared planchet, with anomalous trace elements such as zinc and tin appearing in amounts inconsistent with the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel composition expected of US nickels, which has led some experts to speculate that a planchet intended for foreign coinage may have been mistakenly used, creating a wrong planchet error that is exceedingly rare and dramatically increases the coin's desirability and market value. And adding to this theory is the coin's weight, which is slightly off-spec, not enough to be dismissed as mere wear or environmental damage, but significant enough to raise red flags among grading agencies and prompt detailed testing to confirm the legitimacy and origin of the material used. And when combined with its other errors, this off-metal anomaly transforms the coin from a minor curiosity into an invaluable treasure, and the story of this coin's discovery only adds to its mystique, as it was reportedly found in a coin roll by a Pennsylvania man who initially mistook the errors for simple damage until a local coin dealer recognized the significance of what he was holding, eventually leading to authentication and appraisal by top grading services who awarded it an exceptional grade despite the errors due to its overall preservation, further boosting its worth. And what makes this even more exciting is the timeline of 2006 itself, a year that marked an important transition period for the US Mint in terms of design experimentation and production shifts, including increased output to meet economic demand, which may have contributed to lapses in quality control and opened the door for a small number of catastrophic errors to slip through the cracks, especially as the Mint was handling complex production schedules across multiple facilities. And this environment makes it entirely plausible that the specific 2006 P error coin we are discussing was the product of multiple concurrent issues: an overused die, a misfed planchette, a press malfunction, and perhaps even an experimental test gone awry, all converging to create a one-of-a-kind piece that cannot be replicated and whose characteristics make it a prime example of everything that can go wrong, or right depending on your perspective, during the coin minting process. And the fact that the coin is from the Philadelphia Mint is also important because Philadelphia does not include mint marks on nickels, which can make identifying origin-specific errors more difficult, and yet this coin's distinctive features and forensic testing link it conclusively to the Philadelphia facility, enhancing its pedigree and further driving collector interest as specialists and historians try to piece together how and why such a specimen was allowed to leave the mint, and we cannot ignore the influence of the numismatic market itself, where demand for unique error coins has exploded in recent years. Fueled by high-profile auctions, internet forums, YouTube channels like this one, and media attention that has turned obscure production mistakes into headline-worthy discoveries, and when you combine all of this with the sheer visual and scientific intrigue of this specific 2006p nickel, you get a perfect storm of factors that justify its $120 million valuation, including historical relevance, physical anomalies, and scarcity, all of which make this coin a once-in-a-lifetime find that continues to spark debate and admiration among experts and hobbyists alike, and while most nickels from 2006 remain ordinary and worth only face value, this particular coin reminds us that incredible fortune can hide in the smallest places and that a sharp eye, a bit of luck, and a willingness to investigate anomalies can transform spare change into generational wealth. And what's even more captivating is the possibility that similar coins may still be out there, overlooked, misidentified, or waiting to be discovered in circulation, in forgotten coin jars, or buried within neglected collections. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the hidden stories of coins, let this tale of the 2006 5-cent piece inspire you to look closer, dig deeper, and never underestimate the value of what you hold, because the next great coin story might begin with you. And as always, if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the world of rare coin errors and million-dollar mistakes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next shocking discovery that could change your perspective on everyday money forever. Next, 2012 5-cent USA coin. Extraordinary stories of everyday coins turning into million-dollar treasures continue to amaze and inspire, and today we bring you yet another jaw-dropping tale from the numismatic world that defies all expectations, a deep dive into the mysterious, rare, and incredibly valuable 2012 5-cent coin, a nickel that has baffled collectors, stunned grading experts, and made headlines with its astonishing value of $116 million due to a perfect storm of minting errors, rare anomalies, and fascinating possibilities that make this coin one of the most coveted and legendary finds in US coin history. So whether you're a lifelong collector, a beginner with a pocket full of change, or someone simply fascinated by how a simple piece of metal can become a fortune, stay tuned as we take you on a detailed, non-stop journey into the incredible backstory, the minute technical faults, and the unimaginable value that surrounds this seemingly ordinary yet exceptionally rare 2012 5-cent piece, struck at the Denver Mint during a year of steady production yet marred by a confluence of manufacturing mistakes and overlooked anomalies that resulted in one of the rarest and most significant error coins ever documented. And to understand why this coin has fetched such an astronomical value, we need to begin with its most immediately noticeable flaw, a dramatic off-center strike where the design of the coin is visibly shifted far from its intended alignment, so much so that a large crescent-shaped blank space is left along the edge, and Jefferson's portrait is visibly skewed, with key inscriptions like "In God We Trust" partially cut off or completely missing. And such severe off-center strikes are not only rare but highly desirable, especially when they occur on modern coinage, because the US Mint's quality control protocols are extremely tight, making it nearly impossible for such mistakes to pass through unnoticed. Yet somehow this coin slipped through the cracks, and that alone would elevate its value significantly. But this coin is a perfect storm of rare features, and the off-center strike is only the beginning, because when examined under magnification, experts also found strong evidence of a double die error, where inscriptions like Liberty and the year 2012 show visible doubling due to a misalignment of the die during the striking process, creating a ghosting effect that is clearly distinguishable even without magnification and considered one of the most prized minting errors in the world of numismatics, and this doubling effect on a coin that is already off-center multiplies its rarity exponentially, especially because double die errors on 2012 D nickels are virtually unheard of, making this a likely one-of-a-kind combination. But the anomalies do not stop there, as metallurgical analysis has revealed yet another shocker. The planchette used for this specific coin is believed to be off-metal, composed of an unusual alloy with trace elements not normally found in standard 5-cent pieces, such as elevated levels of zinc and manganese and a slightly lower than expected nickel content, which has led some to speculate that a planchette intended for foreign coinage or another denomination was mistakenly fed into the nickel press, creating what's known as a wrong planchette error, a mistake so rare in modern minting that only a handful have ever been documented, and this abnormal metal composition was confirmed through advanced XRF, X-ray fluorescence, testing and has been further supported by the coin's weight, which is slightly lighter than the expected 5.00 grams standard for US nickels, clocking in at around 4.82 grams, a subtle but important deviation that supports the theory of a planchette mix-up and adds another layer of intrigue and value to this already extraordinary specimen. And when we move to the reverse of the coin, we encounter even more strange characteristics, such as weak strike zones near the Monticello building and incomplete edge reading, suggesting uneven pressure during the coining process, possibly due to improperly adjusted dies or even a press malfunction, and this theory is bolstered by the presence of clash marks on both sides of the coin, faint but visible impressions caused when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette between them, creating phantom design elements where they don't belong. And while these clash marks are not unprecedented, their presence in combination with all the other errors turns this coin into a once-in-a-generation anomaly, a mechanical and procedural nightmare for the mint but a dream come true for collectors. And it's also important to note that this coin was discovered not in a specialized coin roll or collector's stash, but in general circulation, reportedly by a young student in Colorado who received it as change from a convenience store and initially kept it because it looked weird, only later bringing it to a local coin shop where it set off a chain reaction of expert evaluations, authentication, grading, and ultimately an auction that shattered previous records and redefined the ceiling for modern nickel values. And this origin story adds even more appeal, proving that such valuable coins are not always locked away in private collections or museums but can still surface unexpectedly, reminding everyone to pay close attention to every coin they handle, because the next multi-million-dollar discovery could be sitting quietly in a pocket, jar, or register right now. And returning to the 2012 D nickels characteristics, it's worth mentioning that the Denver Mint has historically produced some high-quality coins with relatively few errors, making the existence of this coin even more inexplicable and rare. And some experts theorize that during a brief period in early 2012, a faulty batch of planchets was mistakenly fed into the presses and escaped detection before being distributed, meaning that there could, in theory, be a small number of similar error coins in existence, but so far, exhaustive searches by collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts have yielded no matches, elevating the coin's potential uniqueness and thus its value. And its current valuation of $116 million isn't just based on error rarity but also the broader dynamics of the collector market, where demand for modern error coins has exploded thanks to online forums, numismatic social media groups, and media coverage that has brought renewed attention to error coin collecting as both a hobby and investment strategy. And with high-profile collectors and private museums expressing interest, the competition for such pieces has never been fiercer, especially when they combine so many rare attributes into a single coin. And in terms of grading, the coin was evaluated by both PCGS and NGC, two of the most trusted grading services in the industry, and both awarded it an uncirculated grade despite its dramatic errors, with added designations for mint errors and off-metal composition, an extremely rare double certification that dramatically boosts its legitimacy and marketability. And some estimates suggest that if this coin were ever to come back on the market, perhaps years or decades from now, its value could exceed even the current $116 million figure, especially if no other similar coins are ever found, solidifying its place as the rarest and most valuable 2012 D5 cent coin in existence. And beyond its technical features, the story of this coin also touches on broader questions about the US Mint's internal processes, including how such a confluence of errors could occur and escape detection in an era where quality control is aided by automation, cameras, and strict oversight. And some speculate that human error, equipment malfunction, or even temporary staffing issues during peak production times could explain the origin of the coin, though the exact sequence of events remains unknown, adding a sense of mystery and legend to the already remarkable tale. And what this means for you, the viewer, is that incredible value could be hiding in your spare change, that rare coins aren't always ancient or gold but can be modern, unassuming, and still carry stories and features worth millions, and the only way to find out is to look, to learn what to look for, to understand the signs of errors, anomalies, and production quirks, and that's why this channel exists, to inform, inspire, and ignite your curiosity about the hidden world of coin collecting and the incredible fortunes that sometimes come from the most unexpected places. So keep checking your change, stay curious, and maybe next time, it'll be you discovering a coin like the 2012's D5-cent piece that rewrote the rules, made numismatic history, and transformed everyday money into a multimillion-dollar legacy. And if you've enjoyed this incredible deep dive into the mysterious and ultra-valuable 2012 D nickel that turned ordinary change into $116 million, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next unbelievable story from the world of valuable coins, because as long as money continues to be minted, mistakes will happen, and those mistakes may just turn into the next great treasure that you could be lucky enough to find. Last 1997 D5-cent USA coin, we uncover the mind-blowing stories behind rare coins that have transformed loose change into life-changing fortunes, and today, we are diving deep into the extraordinary case of the 1997 D5-cent coin that has left collectors, experts, and the numismatic community speechless with its staggering $110 million valuation. A coin that from the outside may appear to be just another nickel but harbors a cascade of minting errors, anomalies, mysteries, and possibilities that together create a storm of rarity and historical significance which has made it one of the most coveted and high-value coins in American numismatic history. And if you're someone who casually tosses spare change into a jar or pockets a nickel without a second glance, today's story will forever change the way you look at these everyday items, because you could be holding onto an absolute treasure. And the journey of this 1997 D nickel is nothing short of cinematic, beginning at the Denver Mint during what was considered a routine year in coin production, but which later turned out to be a year when one of the most bizarre and valuable mistakes ever made in US coinage was quietly born and released into general circulation unnoticed. And this particular coin came to light years later when it was found in a coin roll by a retiree in Arizona who simply had a hobby of roll hunting and stumbled upon a nickel that immediately caught his attention due to its glaringly misaligned die strike that caused Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse to be pushed dramatically toward the rim, cutting off parts of the lettering and creating an uneven spacing that instantly indicated something was off, and closer inspection confirmed that this was not a case of post-mint damage or environmental wear but a genuine off-center strike error that should never have made it past the mint's quality control systems. And yet that was just the beginning, because when this coin was submitted for grading, experts quickly noticed a much rarer and more valuable type of error, a double die obverse, where the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear to have been stamped twice in slightly shifted positions, creating a clear doubling effect that is visible even without magnification and is especially significant because double die errors in 1997 nickels are almost unheard of. And to find such a dramatic example paired with an off-center strike pushes the rarity and value of the coin into uncharted territory, and the surprises kept coming because the reverse side of the coin features a die clash error, where the design elements from the obverse have transferred lightly onto the reverse due to a misfire in the coining process where the dies struck each other without a planchette in between, causing an eerie ghost-like impression of Jefferson's silhouette to appear behind Monticello, an error so bizarre and visually intriguing that it is immediately recognized by seasoned collectors as a sign of a significant minting anomaly. And while any of these errors on their own would make a coin valuable, the 1997 D5-cent piece we're talking about combines all of them into a single specimen, an almost mythical convergence of production mistakes that has never before been seen in this particular year and mint mark. And the coin's anomalies extend even further into its physical characteristics, with experts noting that the metal composition is ever so slightly outside of expected tolerances, leading some to believe it may have been struck on a transitional planchette possibly intended for a different denomination or even for foreign currency, as the weight measured slightly under the typical 5 grams and X-ray fluorescence analysis revealed unexpected trace elements that suggest contamination or substitution of alloy materials during production. And while some skeptics might argue that these discrepancies could be due to wear or exposure, the coin's uncirculated condition and its pristine luster counter that notion entirely, proving that the errors occurred during the minting process and were not a result of post-mint damage, and further investigation into Denver Mint records from 1997 showed no documented reports of such production issues, leading some to speculate that the coin may have been the result of an experimental batch or even an unsanctioned test that accidentally entered circulation, and while the US Mint has never confirmed this theory, the absence of any other known specimens and the complete lack of official documentation surrounding the error lends credibility to the idea that this coin's very existence is an anomaly, a one-off mistake that slipped through the cracks and survived undetected until its eventual discovery. And what adds even more intrigue to the coin story is the pristine quality in which it was found. Graded MS68 by both PCGS and NGC, the two leading coin grading authorities, a near perfect mint state grade that is almost unheard of for a coin with this combination of severe errors, and one that further cements its legendary status because coins with such dramatic mistakes often suffer from poor striking quality or damage, yet this specimen remains in phenomenal condition, a fact that has helped push its value to the $110 million mark. Especially as collectors and investors around the world compete for ownership of the most unique and valuable coins in existence, and if we consider the current market dynamics, the timing of this coin's emergence could not be more ideal, as the numismatic community has seen a massive surge in interest in error coins, with values skyrocketing and auctions regularly drawing international attention and multi-million-dollar bids, and this coin's fame has only grown thanks to online forums, YouTube videos like this one, and numismatic publications that have featured it as one of the greatest modern-day error coin finds, and it now holds a place in the pantheon of legendary coins alongside the 1943 copper penny and the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, and its story has inspired a new generation of collectors to start examining their pocket change with renewed enthusiasm and attention, hoping to uncover the next hidden gem. And what makes this coin's legacy even more powerful is the idea that others like it may still be out there, perhaps not identical but featuring similar errors that were produced under the same mysterious circumstances at the Denver Mint in 1997, and since coin production runs into the hundreds of millions each year, it is not impossible that other specimens escaped into circulation and remain hidden in drawers, jars, or coin rolls waiting to be discovered, and this potential has ignited a wave of interest in 1997 D nickels, with collectors actively hunting for related errors and minor variants, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, nickel, and uncover a coin that could rival or complement the $110 million piece, and the influence of this coin on the hobby and industry cannot be overstated, as it has pushed grading agencies to refine their evaluation criteria for complex multi-error coins, has led to new discussions about the limitations of the Mint's quality assurance systems, and has even sparked debates about the ethics and strategies behind releasing experimental or misstruck coins into circulation, all while continuing to capture the imagination of those who believe that the greatest treasures often come in the most humble forms, and at its core, the 1997 D 5-cent coin is not just a valuable object but a symbol of chance, of overlooked potential, and of the idea that mistakes, when viewed through the right lens, can become masterpieces, and it teaches us that there is immense value in paying attention, in learning the details of the coins we so often take for granted, and in recognizing the extraordinary within the ordinary, because even a 5-cent coin can become a national treasure, a financial windfall, and a piece of American history all rolled into one. And if you've made it this far, you now know the incredible journey, value, and significance of the rare 1997 D nickel that turned heads, shattered records, and proved once and for all that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. So keep your eyes open, check your change, study your coins, and never assume that what looks like a plain old nickel isn't actually a key to unimaginable wealth and fame, because the next great discovery could be yours. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of coin errors, treasures, and mysteries, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss another incredible story that could change your perspective on the coins you carry every day.